apparently, you know what she's been using on her face? A loofah. I'm like, girl, those are way too abrasive. You need something soft and gentle for your face. Hey, Sissy here. I'm back at my sewing machine, getting ready to make something new. So what I want to make today is, I'm playing like this is going to tell you exactly what I'm making. I don't know. Okay, let me put it aside. What I'm planning to make is reusable makeup remover square things, rounds, whatever. I recently, sorry, my nose is running. I don't actually use, I've never really used those, like, you know, like you can get those little cotton rounds, or sometimes they're squares at like the drugstore to, I don't know, to put stuff on your face or remove stuff from your face. I've never used them. But recently I bought some solution because I was like, I don't know, all this mask wearing, I'm breaking out like really bad on my chin and lower face, and I have really bad oily spots. So I got some like salicylic, that stuff for my face, and I want to be able to apply, and I can't use my fingers because it's too liquidy. So I was like, oh, I need those like cotton things. But I'm all about, we want to embrace the whole minimal waste, save the environment, and I'm always looking for ways to reduce my waste and my impact on the world, so on the planet. So I thought, can you make reusable ones just that you could throw in the wash? I googled it and I found a couple. Obviously you can, yes. I mean, the answer is obviously yes. So I googled it to try to figure out what they were made out of, and it wasn't really clear. Like, I looked at a couple different sites and they all had different suggestions, but what I landed on is I make unpaper towels, so I'll probably do a video about those, which are basically cloth fabric towels that you use instead of paper towels to reduce waste. And what those are made out of is this thing called diaper cloth, and on one side and flannel on the other. So I'm like, why don't I have all these scraps from making my paper towels, because this was just like the center strip where I had just like a little bit left over on the yard, or on the bolt, I mean, and the flannel I get is just a little bit longer than so I always have these end pieces. I'm like, I'll just basically make mini unpaper towels for my face, because this is a little bit rougher, so that'll be great for exfoliation, and this is nice and soft and fluffy, which will be make it nice for putting stuff on. But anyways, I happened to mention this to my sister too, that I was going to make these, and she got all excited because she's like, oh, I need some of those. And her birthday was recently, and I had knitted up a bunch of dish scrubbies for dishes, because she's also trying to minimize her waste. So I had this yarn, this cotton yarn that's got like these little loops and stuff, it's actually called scrubby yarn, that knits to make dish scrubby cloths, which is great. I'm actually currently knitting one for my Swiffer, so instead of using the replaceable Swiffer cloths, I'll just be able to, the throwaway Swiffer cloths, I'll be able to put this on my Swiffer and then just throw it in a washing machine afterwards, and use the Swiffer as my mop, as everything. It'll be great, hopefully. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know if it'll work. We'll see. Anyways, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I mentioned I was making this. So when I showed up at her birthday with these little dish scrubbies, because I made them in different sizes, I made big ones, but then I made little ones, she was like, oh great, for my face. And I was like, no, don't use those on your face. What are you, I'm like, these are dish scrubbies. They are rough. And I was like, I was like, I haven't made the makeup removers yet. Those are good. I was like, she's like, oh, I can't use it. I'm like, no. Because apparently, you know what she's been using on her face? A loofah. I'm like, girl, those are way too abrasive. You need something soft and gentle for your face. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine scrubbing my face with a loofah or a dish scrubby. Oh, the horror. So, these are not just for me. These are also to save my sister's skin. Because Laura only knows she needs it. So I'll be picking up a whole bunch of them. But I just have little scraps here. I want to show you I want to show you making all of them, but I'm just going to make some of them. But yeah, these are great. So my cloths are, I've got donuts. I think there's a little coffee cup here. Donuts and coffee cups, and then more coffee cups. Because these are from paper towels, which I keep in the kitchen, so obviously coffee cups, donut themed, very appropriate. And then this is my diaper cloth. Alright, so the first decision I need to make is, do I want to make them round or square? Because you can get them in both ways. So I think I'm going to make both and see how I like them. And then decide. I'm thinking the squares will just be easier to make. Because it's just, you know, it's easier to cut out. There's less waste. I mean, the whole point of this is to minimize waste. And then if I'm cutting around circles and wasting all this material around it, that seems wasteful. So I probably will end up making squares. But I want to make one of each at least to start, so I can see what they're like. So let me go get my supplies. Alright, so first off, a little something to drink, because hydration is very important at all times. Okay. Oh, you know what I need is a tape measure. That I forgot to get. Okay. So for the circle ones, I'm just going to put these two fabrics together. So that way everything's the exact same size and I only have to cut it out once. So for the circle, I got this wide mouth mason jar. I don't know if I want to use the lid or if I want to use the mouth. You know what? I'll use both. I'll do one on each. Alright, I'm going to flip this over so I can see the white side. Okay. I think my pencil's going to work on this. Alright, so I'm going to use the lid. Trace around. It's clear enough. Okay. And what's this diameter? This is roughly 3.5 inches. So then I'll do a square one of 3.5 inches. There we go, those are those ones. And then let me do coffee, and then let's do the donuts. Donuts! I'm just going to use this a little bit. This other little bit. I'll do this upside down so I can use it this side. Because what I want to do is I want to line it up on a donut. After my big speech about not wasting, but anyways. There you go. There's a donut right there. So then how wide is this? This is 3 1/4 inches. So I'll do a square, 3 1/4 inches. Nope. I'm going to start lower down because I don't want to get this selvage in there. So actually let me start it up here and then go. Oh look, I got a whole donut in that one too. Okay. Here we go. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. This. Another sip. All right. Because these are so small, I'm not going to bother to pin them because they stick. The flannel helps them stick. The diaper cloth has it has a right side and a wrong side. Oh, it's a little orange fuzzy. But it's really hard to tell unless you get the light right. But it has these little diamonds that are more pronounced on one side than the other. So I want the diamonds, put my right sides together, so my little diamonds, my donuts together. I'm just gonna pat them down so they stick together. Don't need any pins. And these need to flip around. Flip these around. And flip these around. Stick. Okay. Get my sewing machine. I just got white thread in there because I don't really care color or anything. And then I think I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch seam allowance. The other reason I'm going to do all squares when I actually make them is because sewing a straight line is so much easier than sewing a curved one. This is annoying. I'm not even done the first one. The other way you can make these is you can serge the edges. Maybe that's what I'll do on the other one. I'll serge the edge. Nah, nah. So serged edge is when you have the raw edge and then you just sew on the edge to seal it off. But I like the look of a finished seam better. I mean, maybe it's the seamstress in me, but I hate a raw edge. But you know, maybe I should do one with the serge stitch so you can see what they look like. But then my dimensions will be different. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. See how much easier it is to sew a straight seam? I mean, granted, you have to do the corners, but pivots, but I don't mind so much. Alright, so I'm just going to trim the seam allowance, trim my corners, so they don't bunch up when I turn it inside out. And the circles I'm going to cut out little triangles. See, another annoying bit about the circles. Okay. There we go, let's turn them all inside out. I have very narrow holes, so it's going to be a little difficult. Oh, there you go. Look at that little pillow. That's so cute. Little coffee beans on it. All right. Little pillow, a donut, and one last one. Here we go. All right, I'm just gonna iron these real quick. There we go, and now I'm gonna top stitch them because I just like the way it looks when things are top stitched. So I'll do a quick around and I'll close that hole. All right, there we go. Round and square. And yeah, see, look at the round ones just don't, they're all misshapen. But I think in terms of size, I like the size of this round one and the size of this square. So 3 1/4 inches makes the perfect little makeup remover pad, in my opinion. But let me cut out one more so I can show you the serging. Alright. I'm not going to be precise in this because I don't care. Alright, there we go. Roughly square. Alright, so let me put them together. And then I have a serger, but I'm going to want to drag it out. So I'm just going to use my sewing machine, but I'm going to change the stitching to a zigzag. I'm going to decrease the length, increase the width. Let's see how this works. There you go. See, so that was so much faster, but I don't like, it doesn't seem nearly as neat and tidy as this does. That's why I prefer the more effort version, just because it just looks so much neater and nicer. I mean, granted too, this was, I didn't use a real serger, I just used a quick zigzag stitch, but because you have the raw edges still poking through. Because a real serger will do a better job, but it's still, I still feel like it's not as neat and as tidy and as cute as this guy. And there we have it. A bunch of little reusable cotton. So these are 100% cotton, the flannel and the diaper cloth is 100% cotton. So little reusable makeup remover pads that now I can use on my face. My sister can use on hers. So hopefully she still has some skin left. And we're saving the environment and the planet. So these are super easy. That took, like what, a couple minutes to make. However, if you feel like if you don't have a sewing machine, I mean, you can always do these by hand. But if you feel like that's just a little bit too much for you, you can always buy some. I will put the link to my Etsy shop down below where I will be making up a bunch of these to sell, so that if anybody else wants them but doesn't have the time or the supplies or the desire to make their own, just check out my Etsy and you can buy them. Excellent. Alright, well that's it for me. I hope you have a great day. Remember to stay hydrated. Be kind to your skin, guys. Don't use loofahs on your face.